Hello and welcome to Diaspora Voice, KTN's premier international talk show. On this edition of Diaspora Voice, we're going to be speaking to Kenyans back home from abroad, and they're here to celebrate the festivities and the festive season, for that matter, with their friends and family. Some of them are here to participate in the election process, to register as voters, as well as participate in the elective positions. We're going to be speaking to those Kenyans in just a short while. I'm not here by myself. I'm here with my co-host, Chris Wamalwa.
For those ones who are able and are already here, please go out there, register and vote, because these elections are too key to leave to just hanging like that. You can still make a difference even if you're not voting as the diaspora. You can still vote when you're back at home.
Now, the IEBC has been registering low numbers of voters who are to participate in next year's election. In Kenya, the target for the IEBC was about 18 million, but looking at the numbers as of today, we are only in just about 9 million or close to 10 million. This means that Kenyans are not that interested in taking part, but if you can manage to come back home, register as a voter, that will be a plus both for you as well as the country. Not to forget, Kenya is headed towards a devolved government. And speaking of a devolved government, Chris Wamalwa is going to be speaking to an aspiring politician, that is Njeri Mwangi, who is from Murang'a County, and she is standing in the position of woman representative. So we'll be hearing from Chris as well as hearing from this political aspirant. Do stay with us. This is Diaspora Voice.
Hello everyone, my name is Chris Wamalwa. I'm one of your hosts for Diaspora Voice. Many of you know me from the US, but we are recording this show from Kenya. It's a very special show, very exciting installment today. And today I'm going to introduce to you somebody that we've spoken to previously. We met in the US, one of the diaspora aspirants who are currently in the country contesting different seats at the political level. It's my pleasure to once again introduce Njeri Mwangi, who is contesting a women's rep seat in Murang'a.
It's a pleasure to have you again, and karibu sana Kenya.
You've been here for the last 3 months now. Give us your experience on how the ground looks like.
Nothing really has changed, even with the new constitution. There's still a lot of corruption. But we're hoping that gradually people will change. Politics is still the same. We still have the old prayers, playing the same old game. But for diaspora and candidates, it is a bit challenging in the sense that we expect people not to be asking for little amounts of money in order to vote for you. But we are hoping that the new rule that asks people not to give bribes or to take bribes is going to make Kenyans change the attitude. I'm also very hopeful that I'm going to get the Murang'a County women rep seat.
Njeri, let's talk briefly about the recent ruling by the Supreme Court that the gender parity issue is not going to apply in the forthcoming polls. As somebody who has been involved with the women's issues and political activism, what's your reaction to that ruling?
I'm actually calling it the Supreme Court injustice, in the sense that we hope that that rule would be implemented immediately. The Supreme Court itself is a beneficiary of the new constitution that we so strongly fought for. Women have felt let down. What is also so surprising about it is that there's nothing so difficult about implementing the one-that gender rule. It's not the money, because we know that where there is a will, there is a way. And the women and men of this country were willing and ready to elect women or to work with whichever way that was to see that the one-that rule has been implemented. The other great setback is that it has set a precedent, and I'm worried that the court case that we have from the diasporans that has been filed in court, I think the last 2 weeks, is going to follow the same precedent, and we will be told that it is going to be progressively repealed. So all of us are losers, and the saddest part is also that a lot of Kenyans are not realizing that they are also losers when that case was ruled the way it was. They're thinking it's a thing that affects women. It's not just women that are losers. The whole country has lost it all.
For those guys in the diaspora who have an interest in running for political seats in Kenya, drawing again from your experience on the ground, what will you say are the challenges that they expect to find?
On the ground, wherever you go, you need to facilitate your campaign. Other than facilitation, the masses expect you to give something small. Corruption has not gone anywhere. But as diasporans who know that you have to do something as a person, we have to say no to corruption, not giving 50 shillings or 100 to people so that they can vote for you. The other thing people have to be prepared for is that there are coalitions and cross coalitions even within counties. You have camps that are rooting for certain candidates and really edging out other candidates. And there are kingmakers and kings in the county. So if you're not in that camp, you are as well as gone. And of course, there is the fear of party nomination. If you're not aligned to particular groups that are in good books in the party you are in, for instance, I'm in TNA party, which I'm advocating for, and asking Murang'a people that they should vote for the right candidate, not a candidate that they have been told this is the candidate that you should vote for. Some of those candidates may not have even the right education. They may not have the right qualifications. They may have been very corrupt in their areas of operation or contracts that they had been given by the government and they did a shoddy job. But because they are in the right, quote unquote, right alignment, then they are sold to the public as the right candidate. So when you are a diasporan and you want to do the right thing and you're hoping that the right thing is done and that the new constitution is not actually just a constitution but something that's implemented on the ground, then you have to stand up strong and not be intimidated by all this, irrespective of whatever camp it is.
Having been here in your home country for 3 months now, what is it that you miss about the US, a place where you spend more than 10 years?
We still have to change the attitude of our people. A small license will take you 3 weeks to process. Renewing your driver's license is a big deal. And actually corruption is still like the bread and butter of this country. We have to individually take it up and say no. Even with the new traffic rules, it has not changed anything. You find out that corruption, they're asking for a bigger chunk of money than what they were asking for because they know the fines are more. But so what are the drivers doing? They're giving out 10,000, 5,000 so they can be let off the hook. What I miss most is that aspect that everything is clear-cut in the US. You know, you need a license, 10 minutes, you're on your way home. Everything is out there. You don't have to actually go to the city to renew anything. You can get it right in your house. That's what I'm missing most. I'm also missing security is an issue, particularly to people in Murang'a County, even in Nairobi. We've had a few women killed by hijackers. We also are having a lot of incidents in Murang'a County. And particularly this political season, we are asking the government to beef up security for women candidates and even for business people. We do not expect our country to develop and see Vision 2030 realized if people ask you so insecure that you do not know if you are opening your business today, invest a few millions in it, that somebody will just come and take you from your store and kill you, ask for 2 million shillings. That is untenable in the new government.
If you're elected as a women's rep in Murang'a, are you going to serve the people from Murang'a or from the US?
After the elections, win or lose, I'm not going back to the US. I've already relocated to Kenya. I'm ready to serve my country in whatever capacity that I choose to. If I'm elected, well and good. I'll serve Murang'a people with all my heart and soul, and I want to be their servant. I want servant leadership introduced in Murang'a. I'll be at Parliament, and it's going to be a legislative house, so there are no handouts that the people of Murang'a expect or the country expects, and we need a lot of education on that. So I'll be part and parcel of the Murang'a community, and you take part in development right from here in Kenya. I'm actually already taking part in that. I've been doing that even when I was in the diaspora. I've invested a lot in Murang'a and in other parts of Kenya as well.
Diaspora Voice will take a short break, and when we come back, my co-host Joy Doreen Bira will be interviewing one of Kenyans who has lived in the US for so many years, but who is currently in the US, she's relocated back to Kenya. She'll be giving us just a sense of what it is to be back at home after so many years away.
Every Sunday from 9 a.m. Radio meets TV. The DJ plays you the best of gospel music. Inspirational and life-changing stories.
Then you could only see me on trouser, 3/4, 1/4, 4/4, all kinds of trousers.
Niliingia kwa jeneza haraka, nikaingia ndani na nikakufa nikakauka.
Kama kuna kitu kizuri nilipata kwa high school, nilimpata Yesu.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on Tukuza. It's a fresh start indeed. It's all about big laughter.
They say the road to heaven is short and narrow. Now, if you are tall and fat, where will you pass?
It's all about the best comedians.
I was looking at you because you are looking at me.
It's all about the best joke.
Kuna reason why Olympics haitai happen Kenya. Mtu anakimbia huku kando mahoka. Brother, hakuna haja ukimbia na una sufuria kwa nyumba.
It's the biggest, craziest comedy show on TV, and it's coming to KTN.
Swag nayo.
Glad you're watching. This is Diaspora Voice that runs on KTN, and online it runs on ktnkenya.tv. My name is Joy Doreen Bira, and of course in this segment we also speak to those Kenyans who have lived abroad for a number of years and are back home to explore the opportunities that are now available for them. And we're going to be speaking to Joy Kibarabara, who has lived in the United States for 18 years. She's back home. We'd like to find out what exactly did she go for when she left Kenya 18 years ago, and why did she decide to get back?
At the time, I had studied at the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, and at the time it was the only mass communications college. So I felt the need to diversify and learn more, and I thought that would give me a better opportunity in the media. So I took off and went and became a student, and I've been there. Went to school and worked a little bit as well.
The feeling is that when people leave Kenya, going probably to the United States or any other country out there, the perception is they're going for better opportunities. Is it all rosy when you're out there?
Well, absolutely not. It's not all rosy, but it is doable. I think Kenyans are they're very determined, and as long as you plan well, then you can make it anywhere. I always say if you can make it in Kenya, where there's so many challenges, the US, anything is possible. There are very many opportunities for Kenyans who go there in terms of education and in terms of employment and experience. However, one of the challenges that faces most Kenyans is financial challenges, and because colleges can be very expensive. But again, everything is all about planning. When I was in college in Kenya, I learned about, when you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And so one of the things that I always tell people, just don't think about the clothes and the mall and the music and the celebrities and Hollywood, because probably you'll never meet those people. But, just have a plan, be realistic, do your research, do your homework, talk to people who've been there. And if you do that, then you will be successful, and you will at least gain a very good education. But is it rosy? Not all of it is. You have to work very hard. And all the stories that people have heard about the States, about the jobs people do, about the hardships they face, all those are true. But it's an experience. It's an experience, and it's a growing experience. And especially for the young people, it's a great experience to learn how to work with different people, how to do menial jobs, how to even write checks, pay rent, things like that. That maybe if you were living in Kenya, you would be living at home and you wouldn't know how to do those things. So it is definitely a growth experience. If you look at it that way, then you can do it.
Well, 18 years and you decide to make that decision to come back home. Are you here for good or you're in and out of the country?
Well, I'm happy to say I'm here for good. The U.S. was an exciting place. I learned a lot. I grew a lot. Of course, if I've lived there for 18 years, so when I was younger, and now I'm not that young, so it was a growing experience. But just like most Kenyans in the U.S. or in the diaspora somewhere else, when you're going to another country, it's a foreign country. And yes, you will get education, you will get this and that. But if you're looking for a sense of fulfillment, then I think you will find it in your own country. Coming back to Kenya, there's a sense of freedom. You're free to move anywhere. People are friendly. You get to interact with your family. There are people who are celebrating you. In some of the foreign countries, you're tolerated rather than celebrated. And so coming back to Kenya, it wasn't an easy decision per se, but it was something I felt at this point in my life I needed to do. I'm looking more for a sense of being fulfilled and doing something that I want to do and enjoy doing.
Political environment as of now, and I would like to hear your voice. You have witnessed elections in the United States where you've been living for 18 years, but what does it feel like when you come back home and look at the participation of women, particularly in Kenya?
Yeah, in terms of women representation in Kenya and women's rights, I think we've come a long way. It's not perfect. And certainly, one of the bills that just passed the other day, the Supreme Court ruling about the gender rule, threatens the progress that has been made. But I would say, in my opinion, I think, there's been so much progress. Women are already leaders in the home anyway. They make most of the decisions. They're there all the day with the children, and so. But we're not. We haven't achieved it all yet. But I think this is just the beginning, and I believe that the best is yet to come. And so I'm hoping that that the women will be more, I'd say, especially in the rural areas, maybe where they're more inclined, they themselves, to choose male candidates, as opposed to female candidates for whatever reason. I think with more voter education and sensitization, and when they see women out there actually going out there and doing it and leading this country, I think it may not happen all at once right now, but in the years to come, I think we're heading in the right direction. And who knows? I'm hoping that in my lifetime, in my soon lifetime, that we will see a female president. And I think this country will be great. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Do you think that it is possible for somebody to come from abroad and come back home probably years later, participate in elections and win an election?
Politics can be chaotic, I should say, and but it is exciting. It's different, but is it possible to come back and win? I believe so, absolutely. If you, one of the things that is very important in Kenya is identifying and meeting the grassroots people. I think one of the things that maybe someone coming from the diaspora would be inclined to do is tend to be more intellectual and approach people that way. And maybe people, especially at the grassroots level, would not identify with that kind of, so just identifying with the people, being down to earth, explaining to them what you are about, and, in just plain, simple way, you know, I think it's doable. I think it's doable.
We've been speaking to Joy Kibarabara, who has lived in the United States for about 18 years, and now she decides to come back home and venture into the opportunities that are available. We are in the 21st century, and believe me, you can find out what opportunities are available for you, even back home, when you think that there are no opportunities for you because the time you were living, probably you didn't even think that you could come back home and find something to do. You can still get self-employed. You can even get employed in the public service. All you have to do is show the interest and have what it takes to actually be there. You're watching Diaspora Voice, KTN's premier international talk show. And remember, you can be a part of this show if you choose to. And all you have to do is email us on diasporavoice@standardmedia.co.ke. And you can also email us on this same email in case you want to participate in anything to do with the show. You can also follow us on Twitter, that is at KTN Kenya on both Twitter and Facebook, and there's also the Diaspora Voice Twitter handle that you can be following. My name is Joy Doreen Bira, and together with Chris Wamalwa, we're wishing you happy holidays and keep tuned to KTN.